All right, this is big time. Gonna bring you some stories about how they are coming for your children. Now they're showing full on nudity to kids and women, primarily white women. You're now letting men dance in front of your children with their dick out. So let's get right to it. Let's get right to the fuckery. Don't even have to hide it anymore. So I have some articles from PM and Redux. PM is post millennial. I got a couple of the articles linked in the description. Naked adults expose themselves to children at Seattle Pride Parade. Footage taken by Katie Davenport of the Post Millennial showed naked men with pride parades painted on their bodies, riding down the street and waving to crowds of people, including many children. Oh, that's nice. That's right. And I have more smoke for white parents who do this. You don't deserve your children. You're the kind of parents. Are you the kind of parents that won't change in front of your kids because you don't want to show them nudity, but you take them to a parade where grown ass men come up to them naked and want to touch them and shake their hand and shit? And at an LGBT pride parade in Seattle, men with their fully exposed genitalia rode down the street on bikes as children watched. The event was put on by Seattle Pride. Footage taken by Katie Davenport of the Post Millennial showed naked men with pride flags painted on their bodies riding down the street and waving to crowds of people, including many children. Yeah. Challenge body shame, build self esteem. Is there footage? If it's edged out, we'll see. Dang. I'll see what I can do. A sign on one bike read, challenge. Yeah, I read that. Pride is for everybody. One man can be seen stopping to talk to bystanders when he got off his bike. His dick was hanging out. The bikers rode by and were followed by a group displaying a sign, Leather Pride. A group of what appeared to be teenagers walked in the parade with signs suggesting that queers bash back and that those who are LGBT need to stand up and fight back. The group was recorded giving flyers to small children who were in attendance. The parade is part of the annual Pride festivities that take place every year. This is the 49th annual parade. The website advertising the event says the LGBTQIA+, what does the plus stand for? MAPs, minority attracted person, pedos, is a free, fun, community-wide celebration advancing awareness of LGBT issues and promoting mutual respect and equal human rights. Yeah. The Seattle Pride Instagram account posted photos and videos of performers in the parade throughout the day. These include burlesque performers, drag queen, and a group called Dykes on Bikes. Wow. What we'll do is we'll just go back to the top because there's actually a couple stories. And of course, I got one from my own state, which is horrible. Let's see. Oh, this is Canada. Wow, more naked men in front of children. Trudeau Liberals celebrate Toronto Pride as fetishists expose themselves to children. Life is short, play naked, be bare, be proud. So you get to go down a parade because you're into butt sex. I don't really get that. Prominent figures participated in the Toronto Pride Parade on Sunday, including Canadian Prime Minister Trudeau's Deputy Prime Minister, Chrystia Freeland, among others. The parade put on by Pride Toronto included people walking in puppy play and furry costume fetish gear. Several adults exposed themselves to the audience in attendance. Bud Light helped sponsor the event. Why does the Trudeau government celebrate this? What the fuck? Is that a kid? Federation of Canadian Naturalists. Children were seen taking part in the parade as well as in the audience itself. Meanwhile, adult male participants could be seen exposing themselves in the presence of children. Footage was captured by TPM's Beth Beisch. The men held signs saying that life is short, play naked, good things happen when you are naked. One more held a sign that said, proudly celebrating my diversity. Is getting naked therapeutic? High above his head so that the crowd could read it better. The event was put on by Pride Toronto, whose mission says, Pride Toronto supports our communities in the pursuit of our unequivocal rights to be known, be heard, be understood, be accepted, be respected, and to celebrate the beauty of who we are. Pride Toronto claims its values include freedom, love, expression, and understanding. It also advocates for environmental. So it's all left-leaning buzzwords: Indigenous solidarity, anti-racism, harm reduction, public safety, representation, and art and culture. In addition to the adults exposing themselves to children, a drag queen with oversized fake breasts was recorded on the back of the truck during the parade. People in furry and puppy play fetish gear walked past large crowds with many children. As they walked by, the group waved the puppy pride flag, in addition to making barking noises to the cheers of people in the crowd. A group in puppy play fetish gear takes part in the Toronto Pride Parade. There are children in both the audience and the parade itself. Well, at least Twitter brought the receipts. Oh, was that a bone on the flag? Did you see that? Is that like a doggy bone on the flag? Yeah. That's interesting. I bet some NGO made all these flags, right? Wow, I'm gonna get popped for that. That guy was naked. Damn. That guy straight up had his dick out. Jesus. This will get damn. Bud Light, as a sponsor of the parade, had a float in it as well. A crowd of parade participants walked behind the float and dressed in t-shirts representing the beer brand. Some sponsors of the Pride Toronto include Amazon, Intuit, and Trojan Condoms. The organization published, well, I will say this, if you use condoms, you wouldn't get as much monkeypox. The organization published a Pride Guide for the month of 2023. This included 3 different family-friendly drag queen story times and a body pride clothing optional. Oh, welcome for all ages. Wow. Join us skyclad and body painter cosplay. The clothing optional event is a mashup of creative expression and body-centric politics, challenging body phobia, fat phobia, racism, queer, transphobia, etc. Oh, great. And then I have a sad one about Pennsylvania, unfortunately, because that's where I live. Because the Democrats are not like the Republicans are doing anything. Not like they're doing a goddamn thing. So this is my state. Pennsylvania Democrats try to shut down Moms for Liberty event citing discredited SPLC research. And the Southern Poverty Law Center is bullshit. They are bullshit. Now the Moms for Liberty they're a conservative leaning group. They're now being called terrorists on MSNBC. And the former head of the FBI was on MSNBC. The woman who looks like a skeleton wasn't Joy Reid. Basically, they were saying that, oh, these conservatives are now using public office as a way to get their people in So, in other words, they're doing it the legal way. That's terrorism. So, as long as our people are in there and we push our agenda, that's democracy. But if moms start going and running for moms and dads who are quote unquote conservative, that's a very watered down word these days. If they start doing it the legal way and they don't want to push pedophilia to your children, if they don't want to show middle school kids the genderqueer book, which has a gay blowjob, well, that's terrorism. And they need to be in prison. The legislators said that the Southern Poverty Law Center went so far as to compare Moms for Liberty to the pro-segregationist parent groups that formed in the wake of Brown versus Board of Education. Well, okay. Do you believe in parents' rights? And I was talking about this to somebody. Parents' rights. Do you believe in parents' rights? Right now in Philadelphia, there were two Chinese mayoral candidates. There was a Democrat woman, Chinese woman, and then there's currently the Republican nominee named David O. They are both running on the idea that they want a nonprofit Chinese-only school for Chinatown where only Chinese kids can go. You know why? Because their children are being beaten up daily at school by blacks. Because Chinese kids have to go to the bathroom in packs. They can't sit down on the bus because blacks don't let them. Because the Philadelphia School Board is trying to get rid of, just like de Blasio in New York, they want to get rid of honors classes. They want to get rid of meritocracy. They want to flood the school with socio-emotional learning. Because Asians are seeing the writing on the wall. That's why we had the Students for Fair Admissions lawsuit against Harvard and the University of North Carolina. Asians are now being discriminated against in favor of pro-blackity-black bullshit. So they want their own school. I don't see a problem. Why does it bother you if one group of people doesn't want to be around your people? You believe in parents' rights, right? No, they don't. Who's this? Oh, awesome. The brown shirt's showing up. Pennsylvania state legislator Nikki Saval, along with several others, wrote a letter to the Museum of the American Revolution in Philadelphia, trying to cancel an upcoming event with Moms of Liberty. The reason they cited is that Moms for Liberty has been labeled a hate group by the discredited Southern Poverty Law Center. The letter, which was shared by Saval online, states, Moms for Liberty, put plainly, is a hate group. So what? You teach openly in Philadelphia public schools that white people are evil. You say white children are evil every fucking day in Philadelphia. Oh, so now that there are white people coming forward saying, stop hating our children. Oh, you don't like that. Amazing. Oh, here she is. Am I going to get a fucking ad? Of course I am.
Now, someone who's making a lot of headlines, the head of Moms for Liberty. And then let me just say before we get started, Moms for Liberty does amazing work. The parents movement.
And I think Charlie Kirk is a faggot. I really do. I hate this guy. He's a neocon. 1000% neocon. Okay? He's fake. Con Inc. But Moms for Liberty seems legit. They discovered gender spectrum and conflict theory being taught in a local high school where I live. And I live in I'm left Philly and I moved deep into central PA and it's all the way fucking out here. It's unbelievable. The public school system has failed. It doesn't work.
In America is extremely important. And you have this Southern Poverty Law Center that is going after moms. Tina Deskovich joins us. Tina, welcome to the program. What is your response to the Southern Poverty Law Center putting you and your organization on the hate watch list?
Honestly, Charlie, it is a bunch of nonsense for them to take moms across the country that have just been getting involved in school board elections and getting involved in school board meetings and trying to impact school board policy for the first time in decades, and to put us on a list with true terrorists and true people that the first picture when you go to their website on the list of these people is some person with Nazi flags doing a Heil Hitler sign, and they want to place my picture right.
Yeah, but remember, we like Nazis because we're funding the Azov battalion in the Ukraine. Remember, this is a double standard. We fund Nazis, so-called. And again, we fund Nazis in the Ukraine because we support Ukraine. So that's not a diss when it comes to the Ukraine war, but it's a diss when it comes to anybody who goes against the Democrat regime. Remember that.
Right next to this gentleman for the work that our moms are doing across the country. It's utter nonsense.
Yeah, so let's dive into this. The Southern Poverty Law Center, let me ask you, did they contact you before they put together this list?
No, they've never contacted me or Tiffany, my co-founder.
So you've had no communication with them whatsoever, never an opportunity to explain yourself. So that's important. So here you are on this list that will then be used to try to lobby you against Visa and MasterCard debanking. Many financial institutions use this list as a way to blacklist certain organizations. They say this about Moms for Liberty. They say that you're a far-right organization that self-identifies as part of the modern parental rights movement. The group grew out of opposition to public health regulations for COVID-19, which lockdowns, okay? Opposing LGBTQ plus and racially inclusive school curriculum.
Yeah. So what? So the fuck what? What if I don't believe the story of slavery? What if I don't believe it? What if my kid, like, if I want to go to school for HVAC, where does slavery fit in? Or butt sex? What if I don't give a fuck and I just want to be an HVAC tech? Do I have to think all black people are oppressed to be an HVAC tech? What if I want my kid, what if I don't care about learning about history? What if somebody wants to be a cardiac surgeon? Do they have to learn about the transatlantic slave trade? They're not going to teach you about the Barbary slave trade, right? They probably won't teach you about the Ottoman Empire. They won't teach you about the Holodomor. They won't teach you about Khmer Rouge, the Cambodian genocide, or the Armenian genocide, or Mao Zedong's Great Road. They won't teach you about the Bolsheviks. They won't teach you that David Eiselberg supposedly created the gas van, a small hat communist. They won't teach you about the Rwandan genocide. There's only one genocide you're allowed to learn about. It's really fascinating.
And has advocated book bans. Tina, your response?
We reject those claims. Some of the things they said, I love some of your tweets today, because some of the things they said are factual about us, and we will argue with them about if it's hateful to want to make sure that parents are involved in their child's education or in the decisions being made if a child wants to change their name or their gender or use the restroom of the opposite sex or, sleep in an overnight field trip with the opposite sex. If you want to call me hateful as a mom because I want to make that decision for my child, not some principal or vice principal or counselor, then we can have that.
This woman has more balls than every single fucking person in my church. It's a shame. This woman has stones. She's been labeled a terrorist, and she keeps going. Good for you. I support this woman. Tina Deskovich, I support this woman.
Discussion. But some of the things on that list are just untrue. Some of the things they have said about us are factually inaccurate. What we have found over the last 2.5 years is someone in the media, sometimes some radical far left media like Vice or Media Matters, will literally make stuff up about us, publish it, and then mainstream media picks it up like it's fact. No one asks us, no one checks with us, no one looks for facts whatsoever. Charlie, we could even look at the Pen America. I don't know if you followed that story. Pen America came out and said that more books were banned in America last year than ever in the history of America. And they used the term banning, and they attribute it, like 90% of them, they said, was Moms for Liberty's fault.
Can my children read Elders, Protocols of Zion? What is it? Mount Zion? What's that book? The Elders, Protocols of Mount Zion. Can my kids read Mein Kampf? That's the test. Oh, are you for censorship? Can I read Mein Kampf to my children? Oh, well, see, like the girl from the Majority Report who went on Tim Pool. It was funny when he was talking to her, she was all about parents' rights. And then he showed her a book, Genderqueer, which had a gay blowjob. And that book was in middle school. And she said, oh, you're for censorship. And then he said, are you for the vaccine mandate? And she said, oh, of course. And he said, well, what if he said, oh, so you're not for parents' rights? And her brain just shut off. Boom. Yeah. She's just a bunch of lefty talking points. Go further. That's the problem here. It's not based on any principle. It's not based on any it's based on they want control. And there's this one neoliberal agenda. That's it. And any opposition to that is going to be seen as terrorism. That's it.
Foundation went behind them and took every book that they said was banned and where it was banned, and they proved them wrong. They said, this book that you said is banned is sitting on the shelves in this school right now. There's 6 copies. What are you saying? Mainstream media picked up that Pen America study. Everyone, Fox, MSNBC, CNN, they all ran stories on it and said that was fact, slandering us, slashing us, and it was all untrue.
And so are you considering any legal action here? Is there anything you could consider smear or slander? I mean, for example,
they don't have the money to sue SPLC, and Charlie Kirk won't. My thing is, I don't know why they're not writing anybody in the GOP. Yo, what are you doing about this?
They say that you are an extremist group because you believe in quote, I raise my children, the government does not. We do not co-parent with the government. That is what considered to be hate speech and extremist talk.
Charlie, did you just hear what you said? I raise my children, not the government. Since when is that extremism in America or anywhere in the world for that matter? These are fundamental rights that God has given us. He has blessed us with our children. It is our right, our natural right from God to raise these children, to direct their education.
And the government thinks it's their right to take them from you.
Their medical care, their religious upbringing, their moral upbringing. The government of the United States of America has been interjecting itself for decades. And I will say, some of that is because parents have been negligent. Parents have, abdicated some of their responsibilities to public schools. But we as an organization decided 2.5 years ago that we were going to stand up to that and try to solve this problem and look at the pushback, the slander from the Biden administration, from the DOJ, from the NSBA, and now the Southern Poverty Legal Center, if I got their name right.
Yeah, the Southern Poverty Law Center. The other one they say here is, you look at the National Teachers Union met and drafted a proposal to replace the word mother with birthing person. This is insane and insulting to every mom in America. That puts you on the hate list.
Yeah, so you get the idea. The SPLC has faced numerous lawsuits over its conduct, including one where it was forced to pay $3.275 million to Majid Nawaz after falsely labeling him as an anti-Muslim extremist. SPLC President Richard Cohen later walked back the organization's claims, admitting it was simply wrong in its conduct. Oh, so in other words, you didn't want to be seen as like Islamophobic or something. Tina Descovich, one of the MFL founders, responded to the SPLC labeling MFL as a hate group. It's a bunch of nonsense for them to take moms across the country and to put them on a list of true terrorists. An MSL website page describes the organization as one which welcomes all that have a desire to stand up for parental rights at all levels of government. The letter states that the comparison to white supremacists and segregationists is well deserved because the group pushes back on critical race theory. Oh, but I thought that wasn't being taught in schools, as well as gender and sexuality topics. To 12. MSL leader TFS, who is black, recently had an interview in which she talked about the mutilation of children. She said, kids change their mind every day. What in the world are we talking about? That is a critical time that you are going through as a child. That's the most precious time. And you're going to feel confused and you're not going to know who you are. Savelle's letter says that it is essential for cultural institutions like the Museum of American Revolution to carefully consider the impact and implications of the organizations they choose to host. So in other words, to cancel them. It went on to say that Mothers for Liberty is a far-right extremist group. And I'm going to play her too. Deskovich, as well as Tiffany Justice, founded the organization in 21, both elected to school board positions in 2016 and served several years before starting Mothers for Liberty. Justice reacted to this proposed exclusion of the group with an exclusive comment given to the Post-Millennial. The Philadelphia Senate's commission claims that Moms for Liberty should not be welcomed at a museum dedicated to American founding fight for liberty and freedom has no bearing on reality. Uh-oh. I lost my touch screen. The founding fathers do not advocate for the silencing of speech or an agenda where equity trumps merit in education. That a group of parents fighting for good educational standards and parental rights should be designated as a hate group is an obvious lie on its face, one designed to prop up bogus progressive values. Justice retweeted a separate response to the letter from Carol Makovitz. The response reads, Mom for Liberty are absolutely not a hate group, and that attempts to shut them down is due to their effectiveness. But how is it not a violation of the First Amendment rights that elected officials are trying to get their events canceled? How is this not government shutting down speech? Yeah, correct. So let's play. Right. But now it doesn't matter that this woman's black because she's not on the, it doesn't matter.
For the ones finding new ways to ensure the job always gets done. For the ones wearing many hats.
The Democrat regime.
For the ones who are hands-on, even from far away. And the ones keeping business moving forward. We are Grainger.
Holy crap. Let me refresh. I want to see if I can play that interview too. I didn't know there was another interview. Give me 1 sec. I'm sure it'll be another. There we go. It's all got to load. Oh, wow. Parasites are living in my body. I thought parasites are living all around me when I have to give you all my taxes to open more rec centers and more violence interrupters because your parents can't raise you. I thought that was being domestic terrorism. Other people showing up in my driveway trying to take my car from me, and then the district attorney letting them go.
Your My Pillow products, mattress topper, bed sheets,
All
My
right.
Pillow.
Be sure to use promo code.
Also, this is was it Diamond and Silver?
When you go to mypillow.com and My Pillow 2.0, don't forget it has that cooling technology in it. You all, it is.
All right, so this is an hour long. What I'll do is I'll keep that up, and tomorrow we'll cover that. I got one more story from Redux, and then Germany. BDSM youth nonprofit had booth at Pride event in Munich. For parents, the topic of their children's sexuality is often not an easy one, especially when it comes to BDSM. This collective term is often associated with deterrent cliches and prejudices that can trigger worries and fears about your own child. First of all, it should therefore be said that a tendency to BDSM is part of your child's personality and does not mean that your child has a mental illness. On the contrary, various studies have been able to show that there is no significant connection between BDSM and mental illness. Yeah, okay. A BDSM group which promotes sadomasochism to teens was recently spotted at a Pride event in Munich, prompting criticism on social media. The organization BDSM Jugend is a registered nonprofit that provides youth work in the areas of BDSM and sex education. The group has chapters across the nation. And photos snapped at a recent Pride event in Munich. A tent belonging to BDSM youth was seen displayed with posters promoting bondage and pet play, a type of sexual fetish in which at least one person pretends to be an animal. A teddy bear wearing chains is hanging from the side of the structure. BDSM Youth offers a forum, chat service, and email list for young people and young adults up to the age of 27 who want to find out more about topics in the areas of BDSM and youth and exchange ideas with other interested parties. On the forum, which is ostensibly for youth age 16 and up, users exchange information on bondage gear, including makers making collars and homemade restraints. In one post, a user asked where to find tasks to complete as a sub/little. One user replies with suggestions, including accessing fetish themed guides from Valentina's Slave School and Sissy University. Wow. However, since the website is not working, I'm also happy to recommend the predecessor, Sissy University. BDSM Youth also organizes local meetups for the teens and young adults to discuss their sexual identity in the broad field of BDSM and fetishism freely and without fear of exclusion in a protected environment. On its main website, a section titled Information for Legal Guardians offers guidance to parents of children who want to explore BDSM. For parents, the topic of their children's sexuality is often not an easy one, especially when it comes to BDSM. This collective term is often associated with deterrent cliches and prejudices that can trigger worries and fears about your own child. Oh, yes. Because when there's some sort of sexual fetish, the best people to talk about it to your children is not the parents of the children, right? Not sure how I feel. It's really, really leaning on the edge of an appeal to authority. I know somebody would say, oh, well, parents don't diagnose their children with medical diseases and parents don't represent their children in a court of law. They get a lawyer. Yeah, but again, seems like a very slippery slope to me. Wow, you're surprised when you left your children around these people who talk about sex all the time that suddenly they had sex with their child? Wow, I couldn't figure that out. BDSM Youth then instructs parents to read their testimonial section, which includes a glowing review from an individual claiming to be the mother of a 15-year-old girl. The writer showers praise on BDSM Youth for providing her and her child assistance and information on kinky sex. A mother-daughter relationship has never suffered as a result, whereas the father, rather, it has improved. Yeah, but I bet the same group wouldn't say the same thing about detransitioners, right? Would you have detransitioner testimonials here? Oh no, they don't. Once a person detransitions, they're just shunned from your society, right? My child has given me back the trust I had placed in her many times over, and looking back, I am very glad that I acted the way. In other words, they're glad that they wrote in a testimonial about how this mom obeyed. My questions and concerns resulted mainly from my ignorance of what sadomasochism really is, and the more intensive study of this topic made me realize that it is nothing bad or dangerous, but one of the many ways to lead a happy sex life. So you support your child at 15 having, okay. One of the many ways to lead to a happy sex life. I'm very proud of her, and I'm a little bit proud of myself that she confided in me and that I supported her. In 2012, a BDSM youth member anonymously penned an op-ed in Zet Online, claiming that she had enjoyed bondage from as young as 5 years old. Presenting kink as though it was an orientation similar to homosexuality, the member claimed that BDSM Youth has helped her to exchange ideas about BDSM without fear of discrimination. I have always found the association's online platform to be a safe haven. The op-ed took aim at Jugendschutz, a child safeguarding organization, after the group had expressed concerns about the ability of minors to freely access the BDSM youth forums, arguing it was inappropriate. Ah, yes, of course. So anybody opposes it, we gotta, sling mud. The fact that what I feel is natural is suddenly presented as something bizarre, abnormal, has made me cry. I never felt so helpless that I am different and want to exchange ideas with people my age. Can this be so abnormal that it has to be banned? 5 years old, yes. Millstone. According to the official website, BDSM Youth was formed between 2000 and 2002 after a 15-year-old boy who was searching for age-appropriate information on the topic of BDSM was repeatedly denied access to content due to being under the legal age of consent. The organization's establishment was finally completed in 2010 when it was registered as a nonprofit based in Berlin. Oh, so cool. So the parents, great. So your taxes are probably paying for this. Awesome. So not only do I have to lose money for my children to feed them, now I have to feed pedophiles who might want to fuck my children as well. Great. While BDSM Youth claims it is fully membership funded, it appears to have previously received the support of a government-funded project intended to provide resources for gender and sexual diversity. It was included on a list of links for youth among several other queer groups and was labeled as offering networking opportunities for young people and young adults who are interested in BDSM or fetishism. This is not the first time a German organization has been caught directing explicit sexual content towards minors. As previously reported by Redux, German academics discovered explicit sexual media directed at children and young adults being promoted by government-subsidized media channels. Last year, Marie-Luce Volbret, a PhD candidate at Humboldt University, and others in the field of science released a dossier titled Ideology Instead of Biology in the ORR. The ORR is the National Broadcasting Service of Germany, and the academics had worked together to examine hours of media content produced and promoted by it. Well, let me guess, this was hate speech, right? And now they have to be put in prison. During the course of the research, they discovered a number of disturbing programs directed at minors, including a program targeted at children as young as 4, which discussed the concept of gender identity and promoted self-identification policies. Volbrecht and the other academics involved also noted that ORR has been broadcasting content aimed at minors age 14 and over which includes themes of BDSM, pornography, prostitution, and pedophilia. Yep. That's right. And I think I have one more story about New York. So back to postmillennial. We'll cover this interview tomorrow. How about this one? Okay. Toronto Girls' School promotes sex ed for kindergarteners. The Pride Parade confirms they accept male students. A Toronto school for young girls promoted sex education for kindergarteners from their booth at the Toronto Pride Parade on Saturday. At the booth for the Linden School, there was a chalkboard voting station asking passerby if they believe sex ed should be taught in kindergarten. In the corner was a cartoon depiction of a pig. The postmillennials stopped by the booth to find out more. Those manning the booth confirmed they do teach sex ed to kindergarteners. They also accept non-binary and trans students, in other words, males. Oh, so they're putting boys in a girls' school at kindergarten. It's not happening, guys. Is it going to be a fucking ad? Yes, it's going to be a fucking ad.
Looking for a pamphlet, please. All right. Thank you. Only somewhat familiar. You're a girls' school, right? It's a girls' school, right?
Or non-binary.
Non-binary. Do you accept, like if they were assigned male at birth? Trans kids, do you accept trans kids? You do? Okay, cool. I'm just curious that. Are you teaching sex ed for kindergartners now or just curious?
Yeah, I mean, it's like sex ed in the sense of like understanding your body parts, you know, the use of the variety of families that you might see in the same
Okay.
Yeah, so that version, absolutely. Conversations that are appropriate to the age as they go along.
Okay, cool. Have you asked other questions? I'm just curious.
Yeah. So,
this one is like holds a lot of attention.
Okay.
But the other one we've asked is as London is like a no tryout athletics program. Like anyone who wants to play can play. I think the other question that garnered a lot of conversation was like, should there be tryouts for a team? Because that's not something we do.
Okay.
Yeah, if a young person wants to get involved, then they get involved.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's the pig? Oh, the pig.
Oh, I don't know. The last group put that up there.
Okay. I'm just curious.
I don't believe that, but okay. So in kindergarten, they're letting boys in a girls' school at kindergarten. And they let men in women's prisons. And they let teenage boys in girls' locker rooms in middle school and high school. And then you wonder why those people, those women, get raped. But you can't figure it out, right? Those at the booth said they already had sex ed programs for kindergartners where they teach about body parts. They said they have conversations appropriate to the age. The Linden School had posted other questions on the chalkboard throughout the day, but couldn't say what the pig in the corner of the board signified, although the man at the booth said that question has a lot of contention. The woman at the booth mentioned a no tryout athletics program, saying that anyone who wants to play can play. The other questions that garnered a lot of conversation was about if boys should compete against the girls in sports. Answers to that questions were the polar opposite of the sex ed question with resounding no's. The Linden School touts the benefits of single-sex education for girls on their site and claims to have a feminist pedagogy, which is implemented through a social justice and so in other words, it's all bullshit. It's all lefty liberal bullshit. When you hear social justice, get your kids the fuck out of there right away. Right the fuck away. See if we can find any more. Because it's just coming out now. That was Toronto. We covered Seattle. We covered the Democrats who suck in Pennsylvania. I'm sure there'll be more tomorrow. Yeah, I might just cut it there. All right. Well, I'm big time. That's news to me.